What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Over the Top Talk. I'm Anthony. I'm here with Owen. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine, man. After last night's event, it was a little discouraging, but we're on the
Yeah,
road to Money in the Bank now. So, um, I think all we can do right now is talk about, what occurred last night, what the future might look like, what the next few weeks leading up to Money in the Bank will
yep,
looks like. So, just before we start, for everyone watching, listening, make sure to follow us on all of our platforms, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, just anything. We really appreciate everyone that, follows our account, watches our stuff, and,
yes,
let's get
sir.
right into it with the first match of the night, which I was honestly kind of shocked that they had this match first, Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker versus
Yeah.
CM Punk and Sami Zayn, which, you know, um, I'll let you start before we kind of talk about the ending there.
Well, personally, I thought this match was gonna be like closer to the end of the show, like the co-main event. I thought it was, in my opinion, the best match in ring. I thought the chemistry between all four guys was really good. Obviously, we know they can all go. Sammy, Punk, Rollins, Breaker, they're all just amazing in the ring. So there was no denying that the match would be good. Um, I wish it was a little bit longer. I know they were on a really large time constraint, only a 2 hour show, but it kind of felt a little bit rushed. So hopefully, like in one way, we can get them running it back somehow, some way, because I would really want to see it again.
Yeah, and the issue with these, or pretty much every match that happened last night, was they obviously have to add in commercials and stuff, the commercials low key just ruin like the matches because especially when it's like you only get like 3 minutes, 4 minutes of a match, and they switch to a commercial, you pretty much miss like pretty much like a solid 5 minutes of the match. So
Yeah.
overall the match was pretty good, but then Sami Zayn almost had the win there. We obviously saw Heyman takes his leg.
Hmm.
Then we finally get the reveal of who the at least fourth member of this group is, third wrestler, but the return of Big Brunson Reed. And
Yeah.
I just want your thoughts on this before I kind of.
Well, um, before the match happened, and like even last week, I was predicting that Sami Zayn would turn in this match. I thought he was going to turn on CM Punk and in one way or another join this faction or just like be on his own. I was not expecting this whatsoever at all. I didn't even have a thought this could happen. Um, they were just feuding right before Bronson Reed left, well, with his injury. So I wasn't too sure how this would work out, honestly, because I know they have unfinished business. But Michael Cole said that exact thing, that they have unfinished business. So that kind of put me back on track. Like I'm happy that they're not just throwing that away, that they were feuding beforehand. So I'm excited to see how that plays out next week. And yeah,
And just, obviously, there's a lot of questions, a lot of people on Twitter, there's like mixed reactions. Some people like it, some people are very confused, me being one of them. We're filming
hmm,
this obviously before Raw takes place, so we'll see how they kind of push the story, kind of explain it, because not a yeah, Seth Rollins was feuding with them, but I think like he was also Brunson Reed was supposed to be set up, with the Timu bloodline, so they kind of
yeah,
obviously went away from that. So we're
hmm,
filming this before Raw. We'll see what conspires tomorrow with that group. I think the only question for this, segment is: do you think there's going to be like a fourth member? Do you think they're just going to stick with the trio they got?
um, that's actually a hard question because like you look at this group and you see there's a lot of star power in there. Rollins, Breaker, Reed. That seems like some pretty serious group right there. Um, if I had to think like another member that could join that group, it would. I don't know who they would do. I still thought it was gonna be Ethan Page down in NXT joining that. Maybe he could still join that group when the call ups happen, or if he ever gets called up soon. But for right now, I think they're gonna roll with this until at least like SummerSlam time. Maybe a new member debuts during their match. Like if you remember, like when in Solo's Bloodline, there was always a risk of a new member just like debuting out of nowhere during the matches. So I could see them doing this with like a new member just joining, being Ethan Page. So we'll just see how it plays out, but hopefully it all makes sense in the end.
Yeah, we'll obviously see tomorrow night how everything breaks down. But moving on in the event we saw last night, I'm pretty sure we saw Chelsea Green versus Zelina Vega for the Women's United States Championship, and this match had a lot of just there was some spots that were decent, but I just want to
Yeah.
bring up a quick clip real quick. I think it's gonna be similar to what we all
Well, she got caught up, yeah. Catch it clean. She didn't catch it clean. But she still caught her on the bridge to the.
Mm,
know. We see botches like that, all the time, but that one is probably one of the worst 619s I've seen.
yeah. I thought Dominic 619 was pretty bad at the beginning, but wow. If you saw, I'm pretty sure that was the move that busted her nose. I think she accidentally like kicked her in the face, but I don't even know what happened there. She got wrapped up in the ropes. It was really bad looking. At least like she was able to save it with her finisher, but I don't even know what what to think. Um, I like how the announcers didn't really say anything. Happy that effing Jesse Ventura didn't. I was like, what the hell was that? I can imagine him just saying something like that, but at least he didn't. At least nobody tore them apart there. But I think I don't know. I feel like they're just gonna move on from that. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. Like that's the only thing I'm gonna really remember from that match. I feel like the rest was pretty forgettable.
Yeah, and that was that was like one of the main moments. That's why I kind of rolled that clip, but we kind of knew
Mhm.
usually championships don't. I mean, that would have been a championship that I wouldn't be shocked if it
W
switched, but
the thing that I will say is that the code red from the top rope, that I feel like
oh
that
yeah, that
kinda
was a
saved the
pretty good
match.
move.
I think that kinda saved it. Zelina, when she, like, pulls the code red out from the top, there's just something really special about that, so I think fans are gonna remember that, and obviously, like, how Chelsea sat up and her nose just started, like, pouring blood, but I hope this is the last time they run it. I don't even know how many times. This is like probably like the third, fourth time. I don't even remember. But hopefully, Zelina moves on, defends the title against different people, and Chelsea finally moves on, goes into a new feud because she is way too good just to be like mad over losing her belt. So hopefully she gets thrown into bigger and better feuds.
Yeah, and moving along the line, we saw. I might be wrong on this. Was it Damien? Was it this match or was it Cena? I might have
I think
actually.
it was Cena in truth, but it's fine.
Uh,
We can do this.
now we'll just do. So we had Cena versus R Truth, which we
Yeah.
all knew that match was going to be short, which it was. Not
Mm,
too many huge moments besides Truth coming out with Cena's gear. I'm
yeah.
hoping that goes on the WWE shop because I might have to grab myself a
Ron
Cena
Cena.
Truth shirt, Ron Cena shirt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, overall, the match was all right. I mean, we saw Truth. We kind of knew he was gonna get some sort of momentum. I'm glad there was no like ultimate interference. We saw Cena almost use the title, then decide not to, just to low blow Truth, and then he slammed Truth with the title,
Mhm.
and the Cena tour kind of just continues.
Yeah. I feel like I think it was a little bit of a disservice to Truth. He's better than that. Like he should have got some more offense in there. It was more of a squash match. I liked how they kind of teased out little Cena, face turn, like the R Truth was finally getting through to him, and then distracts the ref, gets the low blow, and then hits the AA, pins him, and then, we get that awesome Cody return at the end. So that's just really cool.
And to move on to, a match that I think is kind of important to the future of WWE just a tiny bit, we had Drew McIntyre versus Priest inside of Hell in a Cell, and this was unfortunately the match that we had to listen to Ventura for
Ooh.
about 10 to 12 minutes, just yap about how his time was way better than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
How he didn't like how Priest just walked through the door. He wouldn't shut up about that for about 3
Oh my
minutes.
God. Yeah, that was bad.
But overall, the match was pretty. This was probably one of my favorite matches. We saw a concerto, which we hadn't seen in a long time, which ultimately now sources have come out and say that that will be the last time we see Drew for a little while. Probably
Yeah.
going to go on, take some off time. But I think the
Mhm.
only question coming out of this would be, where does Priest, go from here?
Honestly, being on SmackDown, like, there's really not a lot for him to do over on SmackDown right now. They're still wrapped up in that championship picture, Cena, and I think obviously Cody again. They're gonna be running that back soon. But if you look at the entire landscape of it, I could honestly hear me out here. I could see Priest getting involved in that Seth Rollins storyline going on there. Like Seth, Braun, Reed. I could see him one way or another getting involved in there. Maybe them looking for a third man, Punk and Sammy, and they go and grab Priest to kind of even out the odds, like monster versus monster, because Priest is 6'5". So I could see him doing that. Or I hope they don't throw him into some B tier feud with Gunther or something. But I don't know. So we'll see how it plays out, but I'm confident that they'll find something good for him.
Yeah, and I'm honestly glad that I think we might have saw the last match or, feud for a little bit between McIntyre and Priest. We saw that feud for, I think, since for probably longer than 5 months now. So I'm
Hmm.
glad that we're kind of past it. Priest is going to move on. Who knows when we'll see Drew McIntyre? Obviously,
Yeah.
it was announced whatever he has to do, or if it's just off time, I don't really know. But kind of what I was talking about earlier, I just have a quick question or statement, I guess. Can Jesse Ventura just shut up? And there was a lot of fans tweeting that they really do not like this guy at all. I don't know why Triple H just keeps pushing him on us. Especially after that match, he was genuinely pissed off that Priest went through the door and not over the top or get a pin.
I
He
know.
was rambling about that for about probably 3 minutes before they cut to commercial break.
Yeah, honestly, if I was Triple H, I would be mad at this man for literally tearing your business apart. He was basically calling steel cages soft at this point. So I don't know. Hopefully someone's gonna tell him to not do that anymore if it ever happens again. If they have another steel cage match, or we'll know something bad happened if he's not at the next Saturday Night's Main Event.
Yeah, and then we kind of got to our last match. Well, there was a quick segment between Cena and Cody, but we'll kind of was included in this. But Logan Paul and versus Jey Uso, which this match I think literally only had I think when it finally started, there was only 8 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This was not a long match at all. I think it was very sloppy as well.
Yeah.
Couple good spots. Obviously, the huge tug of the moment was that Cena tried to come down and cost Jay the match. I think we all knew once we saw Cena that Cody was, not too far behind. And I'll kind of bring up a clip of that. Won't play the whole thing, but
The official's out. And here comes the quarterback. Cody Rhodes is back for the first time since WrestleMania. Crossroads to Cena.
And I mean, you can just hear by the crowd that,
Yeah.
it's important that we have Cody Rhodes back on TV. I think, having him return here was, I have mixed opinions. I feel like they should have waited a little bit, but, they kind of need him back. And ultimately, now I think a match we can talk about, because, it's the first technical confirmed match of Money in the Bank, is let me just pull it up on the screen here. Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus Logan Paul and John Cena, which originally we thought it was going to be Cena and Travis Scott, but now they're pulling the Logan Paul route, which I guess we can do a mini prediction here. Who do we think's going to take this?
Honestly, I don't see Cody Rhodes losing this. I think he's going to win his first match back. I don't see them doing, unless it leads to like if it's Cena and Paul doing some sort of like heel tactics, which could probably set up Cody versus Cena again at like SummerSlam. But I don't see them losing in a clean way. Maybe a DQ or anything. I don't see them really wanting to give any participant of this match a pinfall loss, except maybe Logan Paul. But other than that, either disqualification or heel tactics.
Yeah, and I would have to go. I don't know. I don't see Cody losing his first match back on TV, especially when he lost to Cena. But I honestly don't know where to pull there, because the thought of Travis Scott coming back is unfortunately still in my picture book, especially when you add Logan Paul to this. I feel like there'll be some sort of shenanigans during this match, whether it's Travis Scott or somebody else. But I might honestly have to go Logan Paul and Cena, just throw kind of a curveball into it, just based off of interference. Obviously, I always have Travis Scott in the back of my head, and I feel like if Logan Paul and Cena were to win this, I feel like it would kind of, make Cody crash out a little more, and then we would get Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam. I think that's ultimately what they're trying to pull off, and I'm obviously excited to see. That match should be confirmed by tomorrow night. If it's not, I would be shocked.
Yeah,
It might
Triple
already
H
be
confirmed
confirmed. Not too sure, but
Triple H just
did he?
confirmed
Alright.
this afternoon. So hopefully it's a win. Hopefully it's going to be good. All these men can go, so it's going to be really good. But I agree with you. I think this is definitely going to be setting up Cena versus Cody too, either at SummerSlam or wherever it may be. I know another thing that could happen. I want to see what you think about this. I know on the John Cena retirement tour, people were pitching out that maybe it'd be Cena versus Paul at some point. So, what if at like Saturday night's main event in July, we get like a Cena versus Paul? If they're not on the same page, or something happens, or like Paul, as he's out for himself all the time, so maybe he can, want a shot at that belt. So that could definitely happen, I think.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that down the line. Maybe, whenever they end this Cena title or Hale run, at least. Because Logan Paul is never going to turn face, he'll always be a heel. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we do see a Logan Paul and Cena, little match. I would hope it would be on a Saturday night's main event, just because that match isn't like a too, not really like a popular fan match, I guess you can call it. But at this point, we're on the road to Money in the Bank. I think within this week, we'll pretty much have most of the matches made for Money in the
Hopefully.
Bank, because I'm pretty sure it's in like 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks now.
Yep.
We're gonna keep making content. We'll have a couple videos coming out for you guys, a couple interviews. As always, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, follow us on all of our platforms that we have, whether it's Instagram, TikTok. We're pretty much on everything. So I'll link everything down below in the description. But Thank you
Yes,
guys
sir,
for
dude.
listening, and we'll catch you all in the next one.